running?
Yeah.
Yep,
Good.
it is. Yeah,
Good.
So why aren't you here?
Well, one good reason is because then people can hear you guys talk as well as me.
you were better. Okay, don't see anybody else.
Nobody yet. So
Yeah, is the operative word.
yeah, well, it's still early. Still got a couple
That's
minutes.
Timmy.
That's Timmy.
There we go.
You see part of you anyway.
Now, they don't need to see me.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. You should have saved it myself.
Now,
Hey, Timmy.
You're all bundled up. You got heat now?
Yeah, well, we're in the office, not the town hall. But it's kind
Yeah, I
of,
know. I can see that. I just didn't know. Look like you're bundled up.
well, I didn't take my jacket off.
Lori, I wanted to tell you that you guys did a fabulous job at the swap shop the other day.
Well, thank you.
I came in after you, and maybe it's because there was 3 of you, but I don't, or 4 of you, but you were like a white tornado. The place was so nice.
just talking about that.
Yes.
Still need a lot more work, no?
Oh, yes. Well, some of those bins are so overfull, but I managed to get through 2 of them yesterday
Yeah,
because the place wasn't so messy.
How many people from Sumner was there?
well, I guess those,
As customers or as volunteers?
Volunteers.
None that I saw. Well, actually, Don was there in the morning, and he's from Sumner. And then in the morning, there were 3 volunteers from Hartford with Don. And then in the afternoon, there was 2 of us, one from Hartford and one from Buckfield.
Oh, yeah.
So Hartford is representing the volunteers quite heavily. And of course, people come shop from all over the place.
I didn't realize that when you put clothes out here, that bin, they tear it up.
You know something?
For rags.
Initially they didn't, but they probably ran into troubles. But if they tear it all up, why is it they won't take blankets and stuff? I don't know.
I don't know.
How'd you find that out?
Very.
Don?
Yeah, don't.
Really?
So I ain't putting any in there anymore. I thought they was for the homeless or anybody.
Tell you the truth, that's what the rags were always at the mill. Rags, pieces up.
I actually think that represents a policy change, but that would be the same truth for the bin out behind the town office as well.
Yeah.
So maybe what we should do is call them up and ask them a little
You
bit
probably
more
get
about.
more money for rags than you do for.
Well, you know, I mean, initially, I think people think they're putting their clothes and shoes in there, and they're going to be going to needy families. And clearly that's not the case at this point. In any case, we are, I can't really see my clock when I'm doing this. Yeah, there you go. We are
3 minutes
at
after.
7:02, so I will call the meeting to order at 7:02. I have already reviewed and signed the meeting minutes.
Yeah,
We
we
made-
had to.
We made one change to it, but have you both had a chance to review that? And
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
okay, great. So I move that we approve the meeting minutes from January 6th.
Second it.
All in favor? Show your hand. Yep, there we go. Check. And I also reviewed the AP warrants number 18 and the payroll warrants dated January 12th and January 19th of 2022.
Yeah.
I move we approve them as we read them.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Yep.
Moving right along.
What's that?
Minutes of last night. Then I forgot to go on till it was too late.
Yes, and I guess that's not on my agenda, but I'd also like to approve the minutes from the meeting last night between the select board and representatives from Canton, Buckfield, and Turner Fire and Rescue.
We second it.
All in favor? And that meeting, for anybody who's curious about this, that meeting was intended to discuss entering into a 3-year contract with all of these organizations. Previously, we had annual contracts for fire and a 3-year contract with Buckfield for rescue. But they all would like to do 3-year contracts now. And I think it's a good idea. Do we have any report from RSU 10?
Nope. Yeah, where is Richard tonight? No. No, we
Well,
don't.
I don't know. I saw him briefly earlier today, but I don't know. I
I'll
can
message
report.
him.
I can report that I spoke with. Well, I've heard from Chad Culleton, who is our school board representative, who ran this year who won this past year. It's a 3-year term, and he ran with the idea of running for a year and then resigning, but he does not intend to resign. Yes.
Actually, he was a write-in. He did not run.
That's right.
Nine
He was
people
a-
wrote,
That's right.
nine
He was a
people wrote
write-in.
him in.
But he did
Yeah.
win. Thank you for that. He did win, but he did win. And,
Yes.
and
I
with
only
the
know
intent-
that because I'm a ballot clerk.
That's right. Thank you for that.
Sure.
I forgot that part. But in any case, he had done so with the upon some pleading, and he'd done so with the idea that he would only run for 1 more year. But at this
Right.
time, he's not willing to let go of the job because there's so much going on and so much to be done.
Oh, right, with COVID.
Yay. In any case, road report, I see we have the winter road closure list. Do I have that in my packet?
No, we don't.
Ben was supposed to come in and help Leanne with that, but he never showed up.
Well, can we just simply table that if we're not ready for it then?
Yeah.
Okay, so table. Okay, and then Holerman Road sign removal.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about.
Leanne?
Yeah. There's the Hollemans out by the Gurney Hill Cemetery. They placed a sign at the bottom of the hill before the cemetery, and that's not what that road is called. And every time somebody drives up there, somebody pulls up and stops them in the road and takes pictures of their vehicles, and so Ben was thinking that should be taken out.
It says pictures of their vehicles next to this sign. It says Holerman Road.
Yep. License plates.
I mean, the people that own the building up there.
somebody-
Where is the sign again?
It's at the bottom of the hill by the cemetery up on Gurney Hill Road. It's right there in the sharp corner, right there.
Okay, well, if Bim thinks the sign should be removed, then perhaps it should.
We send a letter to them first, after you amend
So we
everything.
send them a letter? Stating,
I
like,
guess so. Do we know we know who the people are that put it there?
Well, it belongs to the house at the end. That's who owns the.
it's whoever owns the house at the end of the road.
Okay, so they have basically they have named the road on their own?
Yes.
Well, we have a little trouble.
Yeah.
No, he
Lenny, I
sold
see
it.
your
Oh, you
hand.
found it?
Excuse me. I see Lenny has raised her hand.
Richard Dyer did not get the Zoom invite.
It's on the
Oh,
calendar.
It's on the calendar.
I'm sending it to him right now.
that'll work.
Say, I got it in the mail.
Tell him it's on the calendar.
I saw
Wow.
him earlier and he didn't say anything about missing it, but in any case. Okay, well, maybe that is the best thing to do, is to send them to send them a letter and tell them that the sign is unauthorized,
Yeah.
and ask them to remove it. And if it doesn't happen, then we can help. But if it's a sign with license plates and if there's a sign with a lot of decoration around it, chances are it means something to them, and therefore they might want to remove it. and
No,
place it-
last time I see it, it looked like a regular street sign.
Huh,
I think it was green.
okay, well, I'm not sure exactly how to word the sign, but I think it needs to say that that sign is unauthorized, and that only signs authorized by the town are permitted on town roads. The people who live there have long appreciated having it be a town road because they get plowed. So, I don't think they want to turn it into a private road. I mean, they could petition to make it a private road, but I can't picture that. So, yeah.
Yep.
It was on this post.
Didn't notice that. Must have been from the meeting there live.
Okay. Guess we're good with that.
I guess so. Leanne, do you feel like that's something we need to make a motion and a motion on, or are we fine to just send them a letter?
I'll just send him a letter.
Just send
Great.
him a letter.
Awesome. CEO report. I didn't see a CEO report today, did I? No,
Nope.
got all this other stuff. Alrighty, okay. ACO report,
Yeah.
Nope.
great. That's always a very good thing.
Hmm.
And planning board report. Do we have anything from the planning board?
Nope.
I attended the last planning board meeting.
You did?
Yeah. Yes, and what all did happen? The discussion was all about, but we've met since then, haven't we? Yeah, because that was on the Mondays, so probably we've already discussed that.
I don't think
Okay, ordinance committee. Lenny, would you like to tell us
Yes.
what's up?
The ordinance committee met on Tuesday. We had a quorum. We finished reviewing the beach ordinance. I think we've got it down. And we next will go back to the administrative ordinance and clean up the issues that caused it not to be passed. And our next meeting is February 15th at 6 at the town hall with Zoom available, but we're meeting in person.
Okay, in real life and Zoom hybrid,
Yes, look, he's here.
yes.
Can't have a meeting without Richard.
Well, I don't know about that, but we haven't got much of an RSU report without him. Is there anything to tell about the RSU, Richard?
He's muted.
Yeah, I think he needs to unmute himself, or somebody on that end can unmute him. I can't do it from here.
I can't either.
No, but
Okay.
they-
Can you hear
There
me
he
now?
is.
We can hear you now.
Yeah, this wasn't the way that I've gotten on here before, and I struggled to get on here. I had to go to calendar.
Yeah,
I've never done that before.
well, it's the easy
And it-
way.
Well, that's not easy for me. The way I used to get an email and I zapped on the Weebly and bang, there you were. Just bang, bang, just like that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I did listen to the school board meeting and I took some notes. I'm a terrible note taker, and now I was going through them before the meeting and I don't remember exactly what they mean, some of them, but anyway, first off, there was a plus and minus discussion of masks again. Oh, I'm telling you, up and down and in and out and round and round. And then there was Deb Alden get into the area of the new building. And the note I took says some kind of a straw poll coming up about something. And I'm not sure when that's going to be or what it's about, to be honest with you. And then along with that, with regard to the new building, there'll be a vote next June at, election day on, I guess, on something about the new building, whether we authorize it or what. They're getting pretty close to getting most of the 19 million things done that they have to do. The architects and the engineering and the blah, 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 blah. And they're getting fairly close to getting settled on just where and how that new building is going to be and what's going to be in it. I think there was some discussion the other night of pre-K or something, room for pre-K or something like that.
Mhm.
Then leaving the new building, the other next item was there's going to be a new principal at Mountain Valley High School.
Mhm.
Apparently, now wait a minute, that isn't what I meant to put down. That's at our high school, because George Reuter is going to retire.
Oh,
Oh, no.
I love
no.
George.
I think George, I think that's effective.
This summer, end of this
yeah,
year.
Yeah, I think that's right.
He's
there
been great.
He
I didn't
has.
take good
He's
notes.
gonna be a hard act to follow.
Yes, he is. And then, yeah, he's been very good. He was there when I used to sub-teach down there.
He's been there for a long time.
Yeah, well, I knew the one before him, the one that went somewhere else and then got into trouble way over east somewhere. I don't know. His name was similar to Reuter, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I'm not remembering.
And then I think possibly my note says the Mountain Valley High School principal is going to retire too, or something about the Mountain Valley High School principal. And then the last thing, they were supposed to have some kind of a presentation, and whoever was supposed to give it got sick or couldn't come or whatever. And they spent the last 3/4 of the meeting going on and on and on and on about quarantining and testing and all of that stuff. And
Yeah.
the guidelines coming down from Augusta, and that they were changing them too quick and too fast, and which I guess is in response to the federal government for that matter. And they had to have a vote, or not a vote, if they decided to go with what's called the SOP, Standing Operating Procedure. I believe that the last one, there was one on 12/30, and then there was a second one on 12/31. And I believe they decided to go with the 12/31 one, which meant that because of that, they didn't have to have a vote on it. That was what would be if they didn't vote to change it. And if that is of any benefit to you, I'll be very surprised, but that's all I have.
Thanks so much. Well, at least we've had a school board report. That brings us back down to number 7, fire warden report. And we actually did have a fire warden report. Evidently, there was one resident burning without a permit, and he addressed that issue and assigned that person the permit. was a pretty brief report, but it was a report. Treasurer report, we have a bank reconciliation from December and account payable difference write-offs per auditor. I'll see if I can find this in my file here.
So on the check-in, we're off 90 cents, but Leanne's still cracking at it.
Yep. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, for that little amount. Hmm.
Okay, so I am. Was there something we were supposed to sign on that? I was in to sign stuff earlier today, but
Anybody review it? We just got an initial where we reviewed it.
okay.
Yeah. Just in case.
Well, I'm looking at this part B, the account payable difference write-offs per auditor.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay,
And just about the 90 cents. Trying to find.
okay, so that, I'm looking, not looking at the bank reconciliations part, I'm looking at the second
Yep.
part, the part B, account payable difference write-offs per auditor. Is there any action required around that? I can't hear her.
Either vote to write them off or
I can do the research.
you can do research.
I
I
can't
can't hear
either.
what she's saying. I can't hear what she's saying.
Either vote to write them off or do more research on it, on the squares.
And how much are we talking about?
200, was it?
I wouldn't be able to fix the like the Medicare and stuff like that. So it's under $100.
It's under $100.
Hmm. Well. I don't know, it seems to me that under $100, if these are old accounts, right?
From 2015, 16.
2015, 2016.
And
They're
under
from-
$100, I'm tempted to say write it off.
Yeah,
The total's more than 100, but there's no way I'd be able to fix the others.
the total, she said, is a little more than 100, but she's not gonna be able to fix the others.
The
It'd
others
take a lot
are,
of time checking it out, looking into it.
yeah, I mean, honest to God, it seems like we could give Leanne a break and just
Right,
write
write
it
it
off.
off.
If it's that old and it's under $100,
Yeah.
I just, I don't see flogging it.
No. You wanna make that into a motion?
Beating a dead horse. Sure, why don't you make it into a motion?
Okay, I make it into motion to write off this general ledger missing amount of dollars. Just write it off. Anybody second it?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Good. Three.
There we go.
And Richard? You had your hand up?
Richard has his hand up. Would you like to answer him?
Go ahead, Richard.
Richard?
Are you guys, any of you guys at the town hall tonight?
No, we're at the office. Lee's
Yeah.
home. Lee is home.
How come you're not in the town hall?
Well, there's only 3 of us here.
Well, that's why I heated up.
Yeah, well, I hope the town hall pipes don't freeze up. That's all I'm thinking.
I just went over.
It's still running, it's still running. We
Yeah,
turned it
I'll-
down.
Okay.
Speaking of which, it's a little off topic, but was Mr. Elsman able to show up and put a new nozzle?
No, he was running late, and he asked me if I went over to see what was up with it, and I told him it was still running, so. Don't know if he'll be over tomorrow or what.
Fingers crossed.
I understand that furnace is 20 years old.
Yeah,
Which does not
Half-
strike me as very old.
Well, that's 20 years on a furnace. That's quite a long time. Of course, I don't know. I'm used to a mobile home furnace. Maybe
That's
the
right.
type lasts longer, but 20 years, you
Some
might
do-
be ready. You might be ready
I-
for a new one.
some do,
I
some
asked-
don't.
I asked Allison at Blanchard's today, I said, it's 20 years old. Does that seem, is that about right? And she said, that seems kind of young to have a catastrophic failure.
Oh, okay. All right.
But then again, I don't know.
Well, it's gonna blow a hole in its side, so.
Yeah, it's clearly become unsafe. And so it's going to have to be replaced.
If it's
You
not
know,
going to
I
be
think
replaced,
there's probably a number of directions we can go. And getting information from various places is important. However, we're on
Well-
calendar reminders now, and there are no calendar reminders right now. I just wrote down the February 15th, so I remember the ordinance committee meeting. Anything else? February 2nd is coming up before too long. That's not only Candlemas Day, but it's 2/2/22,
Whoa,
for what it's worth, which
Lady,
is a lot to me because that is a day that I celebrate.
lady, we
Yes.
have one on the 25th of January. Sumner Public Works, 6 PM.
There you go. Okay, so thank you for that.
That gonna be Zoom? They didn't say. You don't know
Person,
if it's Zoom or
person.
is it here or there?
I have
Over
the
there, over
impression that is an in real life meeting.
Over there.
And what time is that? At 6 PM? And that is at the Sumner Town Office.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. I remember.
Thank you for that. Okay, let's move on to unfinished business. We have the Spirit of America nomination. And it hasn't been every time that I completely agree with Lori on everything, but I agree with Lori on her suggestion from
Well, actually,
last.
I like Linda and I like Polly. I like them both. So,
I don't think we can have two.
I know. Well, they're both involved in the food bank. I don't know. They sometimes had two come up at once, so. in life.
Food bank probably could be.
Have them both. They're both involved in the food bank, some of the food bank.
yeah, let's give the Spirit of America Award to the food bank.
The catch is, I think it's supposed to be
You can make her,
somebody who lives in your town.
well, they both live in the town.
Well, if you called it just the food bank, that's not the same
Okay,
as,
Hartford Food Bank.
Hartford Food Bank. And that way you don't hurt anybody's feelings, because there's a lot
You
of
know?
people working hard.
there you go. So maybe that is the way to go. I know that it can be an organization because last year we saw Buckfield choose Tilton's Market.
Oh, they deserve it.
Oh my God, they're so good. They've got so many things that you can't find elsewhere. They're just kind of amazing. Back when there were toilet paper wars, they were the only place you could get like big packages of toilet paper. They're amazing.
I'm having trouble finding cat and dog food.
Cat food especially.
Oh, yeah, I gotta stock up on cat food.
Yeah, cat and dog food.
Can't find it.
Problem.
What?
You can't find it.
There's a cat food crisis?
Yeah,
Cat food and dog food crisis. They know it's hard to find. No matter what.
Huh.
story.
I didn't know anything about it.
And I got fussy cats.
Well, maybe people will have to start making their own dog food. I don't know.
I have a good recipe for dog biscuits.
Mhm.
And
There
a
you
bone
go.
sh- And a bone-shaped cutter.
There you go.
Like,
Great. Okay, well, so I guess I'm going to move to nominate the Hartford Food Bank for the Spirit of America Award.
the new and the old. The old stepping down and the other one. going
Past and present.
up. Yeah,
I don't hear a second.
I second it.
Great. All in favor?
yeah.
Great. Okay, the next thing is can I say it? Oh, man, I've got this stuff all spread around here. The next thing is the Governor's Office of Policy, Innovation and the Future Grant, or GOPIF. Oh, these government acronyms. So there's this GOPIF grant. And I attended an AvCog little, I don't know if you'd call it a seminar, webinar, on the topic. And while we'd have to be ready to apply by March, it looks like it's available for a lot of things to make your town, a community more resilient to climate change. Such as flooding, extreme weather, drought, and public health impacts. It is match required, 10% or 20%, depending on the size of the community and eligible activities. Some of the things I took notes the other day, some of the things that are that could be included are things like heat pumps, charging stations for electric cars, community gardens. I know we actually have it is sort of multi-community, but there's a really nice
We'll do a charging
community
station.
what's that? Excuse me?
The charging
Excuse me?
station,
I wouldn't buy one of them.
the charging station for cars.
Buy one of them.
You know,
It's
it
coming.
may, that's just it. I think that, the F part of this acronym is for future. It's looking towards the future. And so, it might not be so completely foolish to consider having a charging station at the town hall. Of course, I don't know how those things really work. If somebody has a charging station there and somebody plugged in their electric vehicle, which we don't have very many. The only one I know in town who's got one is Penny Jasper.
And Benoit Bonas.
They have an electric vehicle?
Yeah, they've had one a long time.
Oh, I only knew that they had a Prius. I
think
know
Debbie-
they've had multiple Prius, but I don't
think
know.
Debbie
That,
Salisbury has electric vehicle.
there you go. So, it's not completely outlandish. I know that Penny put in a whole bunch of solar panels to, bring up enough power to keep hers charged. Because, and of course, the question I have around that, we'd have to find out more about it, but is, okay, so we put in a charging station at the town hall. How much are we going to be spending on our power bills if we're charging up people's cars for them?
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't think it's exactly like a vending machine where they put in, like if you want to get air, you got to put $2.50 in, I think it is now, to get air in your tire.
How does that work? I wonder if that kicks back on who's plugging them in.
I don't know. It seems like it ought to though, doesn't it?
Well, they have several at Oxford Hills High School. We could certainly find out.
Oh, they've got one in Buckfield, for heaven's sake. Back when Joe Roach was the town manager, he arranged to get one of them, and it probably was grant funded, at least to put it in. So it's one thing to put it in, it's another thing to pay for the power to run it. And so finding out about that, but first of all, we have to consider whether we would want to accept this grant. It looks to me like there are 2 cycles per year that it's the
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
okay, well, I just heard somebody else was talking, and because I can
I
hear
was
me
commenting.
talk and I can hear you talk, but I can't hear everybody else.
Don't like people who like those like.
In any case, the grants are due in March.
You got it.
The grants are due in March and September of 2022, and with similar deadlines anticipated in 2023. So that gives us 4 opportunities to apply. And I guess I'd have to say that if we can get our act together, that there's a lot to be done in order to apply for the grant. And the first thing we'd have to do is we must enroll in you have to go on to the website and you have to enroll. It's a 3-step enrollment process. And in any case, there's a community resilience partnership that you have to enroll in. Once you've completed the enrollment, you can apply for the grants. The minimum of $5,000 grant and a maximum of $50,000. And it seems to me that it's worth considering this further, what we could do in our town with grants. Of course, the thing about grants is they're pretty much all competitive, and we're not going to get a grant unless we have a project that this Office of Policy Innovation in the Future thinks is a good idea. So I guess, March will be here before we know it, but maybe it's enough said for now. Would you like to take on a little homework, Lori, of thinking well about what we have in our town that we could use a grant for that would promote the community resilience in the future?
All I see is gardens and the shorelines, that's all I see.
We'll check out that.
I didn't see anything, of course, I didn't see anything in the, I guess maybe our first.
Flood plans and shorelines and so many more.
Check out the charges. I'll pay Jasper and talk to her and ask her about the charges. I'll talk to Penny about the electric charges.
Okay, I think that the strategy area C about reducing emissions through clean energy innovation, this may be a place where we could get some help with a heating system for the town hall.
Yes.
Maybe. That's what I'm thinking. Heat pumps are one of the things that they're willing to give you grants for. Now there's a match, but between this and possibly, excuse me, what?
Furnace for the town hall.
Well, it's possible that we could get a heat pump or a furnace for the town hall. However, we probably have to choose a type that is considered to be emissions acceptable or innovative in some way. That's why I said heat pump. But because heat pumps are definitely a piece of what they encourage.
But heat
Well, you
pumps,
could do solar.
Well, I'll tell you what, our town hall, that south roof of the town hall would be a wonderful solar collector. The snow slides off it, it's slicker than a glass doorknob. And I think, I think we could gain a lot of energy that way, although that's not going to heat the building, that produces electric power. So we still have a ways to go in figuring out what to do about that furnace. Sure would have been nice to have a little bit more time before it turned into an emergency to have done the research. But yes,
I did a little research as we were talking.
yes,
And I Googled heat pumps for large old buildings. And it suggested heat pump in conjunction with solar.
uh-huh.
Their heat pumps aren't really good for big buildings.
Well, big buildings and don't actually imagine a heat pump as being an appropriate choice for the hall itself.
No.
But it's entirely possible that we could be heating the kitchen.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I called today, actually while we were folding, I called Efficiency Maine and talked to a woman who was kind of singularly unhelpful. But what she did tell me is that there are grants for businesses, we'd be considered a business, that it's actually not grants, it's what do they call it when they'll pay you back afterwards? There is an incentive to buy a heat pump, but and you could have up to 3 zones. And that's kind of how heat pumps work, is they heat a certain zone in a building rather than the entire building. At least that's my understanding. I'm still using the wood stove, so I don't know that much about heat pumps, but
Good for cooling also.
that's my understanding. I don't entirely understand how that
That's the
works.
reason why I got one, was for cooling.
Oh, you have one?
Nice, and it works well for that.
Yeah. Yep. I got 3 heads, one in the living room and one in 2 of the bedrooms.
Do you have only one fan on the house or more than one?
No, each head works separate.
From a separate fan? Because I've seen these fans on the outside of buildings quite often.
Oh, yeah, you only have one of them. That operates on all three. That's the main.
So each zone would have a fan?
No, it's only one for the 3 heads.
Oh, okay.
The heads is what they call what they put in each room.
It's sort of like a baseboard, only it's up high.
Yeah, it's up near the ceiling.
Given that heat rises, I've never understood how that's supposed to work.
Yeah, I don't know, but it works.
There's lots I don't know about these things.
Actually, heat doesn't rise. It seeks cool.
Heat doesn't rise. You put your hand over my wood stove and I'll show you how heat rises.
It's seeking cold.
Put your hand up near my ceiling. That's where all the warm air is. Put my hand down by the floor.
Yeah, seriously, I don't want to argue whether heat rises or not, because I think that we're getting into arguing over physics, and I don't think that's our place at this time. In any case, I would like to I'd like to research how we can apply for the GoPIF grant. Our next meeting is going to be the first Thursday in first Thursday in February. Do you think you could have a little research done on that, Lori, by that time?
Well, I'll see. I'll go
Okay,
on that,
because-
I'll go on that website, see what they have.
Great.
We could, lights also would include in that, wouldn't it?
Lights,
Lighting.
lighting could also possibly be included in that.
That's February 3rd.
February 3rd. There you go.
Next meeting.
That sounds right, because 2/2/22 is a Wednesday this year.
Groundhog Day.
Okay, so it also known as Groundhog Day. That's right. Open session.
I don't have anything.
I just would like to say that we got the Hartford News collated and mailed, and we had a skeleton crew, but we did great.
You know, I thought it worked well. Many hands
It
make
did.
light work, and it would have been nice to have more folks, but I think we had enough people to get her done. So, and nobody was straining too hard.
The only problem was that Arlene had to do 2 jobs. She was folding today. Normally she's doing a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, and it goes faster that way.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
It's okay.
well, congratulations all and thanks. Richard, I see your hand is up.
Yes, can you repeat, because I'd like to mention it to Polly, the award thing for the food bank? What's the name of it?
It is the Spirit of America nomination.
Spirit of America nomination. Okay.
Yes,
And
yes.
then-
I'm
that'll-
sure that,
Prize.
Is that a-
I'm sure if I can
one I
happen to
got,
remember
Paul.
it, I would be happy
They
to
had the
bring
things
you.
on it, stick it on the wall.
There might be a prize involved.
Well, that's what my next question was.
There's a plaque involved in any case.
A plaque.
Yeah.
Is that money involved or is it? just
No
a,
money. No,
recognition.
just
No.
recognition.
No, it's just recognition.
Recognition. Thank you. Spirit of America. Something.
Award.
Spirit of America Award. Okay.
It's what I got last year.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, it's gone before.
Okay, does anybody else have something for open session?
Nope. Oh, is this where we were going to discuss the furnace?
Well,
Or is-
I guess
Or
probably
is that
so.
new business?
Well, unless there's a new agenda that I don't have in front of me, that it would include the furnace. I think open session is where we need to discuss the furnace. I didn't have too much time for, I did check in on the Efficiency Main website today. And I saw a lot of local installers for heat pumps and heating systems. We know some people locally who install heat pumps and at least heating systems. The question is, do we want to try to simply replace this thing with exactly what we've got as soon as possible, so that we don't have to worry about it anymore? And in 20 years, we'll be dead by then anyway. We don't have to worry about when the new one breaks. Or do we want to try to be forward thinking and come up with a way to heat the building that is maybe more energy efficient?
Which I don't know what that would be.
Well, heat pumps would be a start. And that
Well,
would, and while we recognize that it would not completely heat the whole building, it might heat part of the building.
Heat pumps would probably only be efficient with the kitchen and the bathroom.
Well, and what's the most important part?
And they're about and they run from like $6,000 to $8,000.
If you are a homeowner building a new home and you're not applying for any grants or
Yeah, that's
You didn't
true.
go through, Efficiency
Right.
Maine, did you? If
No,
you've gone
I'm
through
just-
Efficiency Maine, you don't have to be pro folks either to go through Efficiency Maine. Anybody who wants to can apply to Efficiency Maine and get, if you're not well-to-do, you can possibly get yours for free, but
Well,
they're
if you
giving
get
out
one
heat
for 2 or
pumps right and left.
3,000, good. You can get one
You
for
know,
2 or
so I think
3,000.
I feel like we should at least, I think we owe it to ourselves to at least look into it.
But you still
Even,
need something.
even if it's, oh, yeah, absolutely, we still need something to heat the hall and to, to overpower the cold, because a heat pump's not gonna cut it, and we all know that. Not in cold weather, but I guess I like the idea of at least giving a nod towards trying to be a little more energy efficient that way. It's entirely possible too that there's more efficient furnaces. And I guess what I feel like I need to know is, do we need, okay, tomorrow's Friday anyways, and then we're in the weekend. We're probably not gonna be able to get this thing replaced instantly. Therefore, I mean, because it's not like it's a mobile home furnace that you can put one in the back of a pickup truck and lug a new one in. This thing is a monster.
I said, I don't think propane is the way to go.
I don't think propane's gonna be any better than the oil, although propane, one thing about propane, I got a propane generator, and while I haven't run it for quite a while, propane, it burns so clean.
Yeah, it might be clean, but
It's a lot cleaner for your equipment.
it's
The
more
equipment
expensive,
stays clean.
I think.
Yeah, well, it's bound to be more expensive and probably not such a, not, in terms of the environment, not necessarily any better for us. Richard, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, two comments. You said that you called Blanchard's and they said that that wasn't that old. So maybe you could look around for somebody that might be able to rebuild your existing furnace. Repair what's wrong.
It seems to me that I actually met somebody who's a refractory mason just yesterday. Seems to me that anybody who's kind of a refractory mason type could put new lining in and it'd be all good, but I just don't know these things.
I think you should check into that. And my other comment is more of the immediate thing, like tonight. If that thing
Yeah.
kicks off, there's a very good chance you're gonna freeze up your pipes over there. And I
Well,
don't think-
so Kathy, so what I want to know, Kathy, is the toilet still running?
What?
Well, you left the toilet running the other night, right? With the
Oh,
spoon?
yeah.
Is
No,
the
we put
toilet
it
still
back.
running?
We put it back to normal.
Well, I guess I'm gonna suggest, unless you plan to get up every few hours to check on the furnace, that it might be a good idea to leave the water running.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
Well,
leave it dripping and pull the
Yeah.
spoon trick on the toilet.
Yeah, I'll do that before you leave.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's gonna be really cold for the next few days and you don't want
That's
the
right.
plumb frozen up
Yep.
over there.
My temperature here says it's 8.1 degrees and the trending arrow is straight down. So it's gonna be chilly tonight.
And for a while.
And if you've
days.
left the doors open in the hall, it could freeze the pipes really fast.
Yeah, I'll do that before I leave.
Probably just as well to close the doors too, for
Yeah.
this, be on the safe side.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so do we have a decision on as to what we're gonna do about this? I mean, I'm willing to find out a little more about the heat pumps. Would you like to authorize me to ask, I think it's all online, ask these different ones to give us an estimate? It might mean a whole lot of opening up the hall for people to take a look at it.
Yeah,
But
that-
I showed you, if we go within 25 miles, there's still tons of people who do heating installations and heat pumps and stuff like that. I mean, I say tons, you know, there's a dozen of them at least. And plus there's the guys we know. You mentioned somebody in, was there Jason, somebody in Buckfield? Then there's Steve Ellsman and other ones. I think we owe it to ourselves, or we owe it to the town, to get as many estimates and suggestions as to what we can do as possible.
Yeah, there's a Justin Henderson. Mike.
Right, yeah, yeah,
Mike's here.
okay. Okay, so why don't you authorize me to go on that website and ask all these different outfits in you know, Fayette and Jay and all those, and Rumford and all those different ones, what they could do for us. And you ask Henderson and Ellsman and all these ones to tell us what they can do for us and what it's gonna cost. And then if we need to call an emergency meeting, so we deal with this sooner than 2 weeks, we don't want to be babysitting the furnace for 2 weeks, right?
Where are we gonna get the money?
I'm thinking that this is probably what they made contingency for.
Contingency?
Contingency?
Yeah.
Don't we always put about 3,000? What do we have in contingency now, Leanne? Do you remember?
She's looking.
Richard,
Where you got, Richard?
Well.
Richard?
Did you mention one of the contacts you were gonna contact is somebody
How
by
much?
the name
3,000?
of Henderson?
Yeah.
Uh,
Justin Henderson.
Okay, because I was gonna mention, but I was not gonna mention it in public. I was gonna call Lee.
Yeah, three,
Messenger.
yeah,
I was gonna
contingency,
mention- Because
$3,000.
$3,000.
3,000.
Yeah.
he came and took care of our new furnace, which I just bought a while ago, and got it all
Nice.
running. And he did a very, very good job. But I
It's good to
didn't,
hear.
but he also said that he wasn't anxious about a lot of work. So, but I think he would, for the town, I'm sure he would
He
probably.
might. So,
and he-
but all we can do is ask. There are, I think, dozens of people
Yeah,
that we
but
can
he-
ask.
he's
So,
got
and
a
I think
lot-
we owe it to ourselves to ask as many as we can get.
I'll
Yeah,
ask 3 of them.
He has a lot of experience and he knows what he's doing. So I would highly recommend him.
Great. Thank you for that. Okay,
Yeah.
does anybody else have something for open session? I see Tim Kerwin is still here and Leanne is here. Do you have anything for open session?
No. Nope.
Yeah, well, hearing none, I think we'll move on to new business. Crossroads Youth Center COVID testing clinics. Does anybody have anything to say about this?
No.
Does anybody know anything about this?
No.
Leanne?
Just what I gave you,
Just what she give us.
they're offering testing clinics and vaccination promotion throughout Oxford County if we're interested.
They're doing it over to the Sumner Church. Sumner Church is doing it.
Right?
The 24th from 4 to 6 and April 5th from 3 to 6.
Yes, that's correct.
On the website anyway.
Yeah.
All about.
So we're having some right in this area, which is good.
Yep. Okay, great. Well, thanks for that. I know today I signed the new wages sheet that was updated due to a minimum wage increase.
Yep,
I'm assuming you guys did too?
yep.
Great.
We need a motion on that.
I move that we accept the new wages as presented.
I second it. For all in favor? Good.
All in favor? Great. Okay, today I signed the Connect Maine broadband grant that we accepted at our previous meeting. And I have already managed to buttonhole three people to be on our committee. We need 2 more at
I got
least.
Teresa's gonna come on.
What?
Teresa Bennett was coming on,
Come on, what?
the broadband committee.
She won't even use email.
She what?
What on earth? She won't even use email. She won't even let them put broadband down at the last
She didn't-
planning board meeting. She told us that she had no interest in allowing First Light to bring the cable for broadband down her road.
Yeah, that's all right. You
And
still be on her
we
committee.
know that she's not interested in being in even using email. No, I'm not interested in having, no, I'm serious. I just got off the phone with Mia today and she said, what we need to find is people who are genuinely committed to making sure that we get broadband for everybody in our area. And I mean, if she wants to get hold of us and, tell her to call me up on the good old fashioned telephone and tell me why she's a good candidate, sure, but I've got 3 people now who are dedicated to the idea of getting broadband for everybody in town.
All
And I
right.
can't understand why somebody who won't even use email for planning board business is interested in getting broadband for everybody. I just don't get it.
I don't know, maybe she can't afford it. I don't know. Why she don't get it?
No, she says she does not use email because she retired from a job where she used a computer, so she doesn't even use a computer anymore.
Hmm.
And so I
Okay.
just, I mean,
Okay,
I'm more than willing if she was actually interested in it, but I can't pick, it does not
never
sound very
mind.
interested to me.
All right, never mind.
I mean, did
Good
she tell
job
you she wanted to do it?
recruiting.
What, Lenny?
I said, good job
Oh.
recruiting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to shoot you down like that, but I mean, of all the people I can imagine would want to do it. I've got, right now, we've got Jim. Oh, great. I can't think of his last name. Havlin, Jim Havlin, Keith LaRochelle,
Good.
who wrote the town's first website, as a matter of fact, and Zachary Eller.
Good.
Nice.
And he's really into it. In fact, he said, yes, we're interested. So that actually might mean Zachary Eller plus wife.
Except they have 3 kids under 5.
That might not be a problem. I mean,
I'm just
it's
teasing.
it's a reality, but it's not necessarily a problem. Zachary Eller got hold of me early on when he first moved here, saying, I need broadband for my work. What can I do to help? And now that we've signed this contract, and job number 1 is to get a committee together, and then to move forward with determining, meeting with First Flight and determining which polls are doing a poll survey and surveying the town to see who actually has broadband, who actually wants broadband.
That's good. Okay.
That's what it's supposed to be about.
Richard,
Yeah, if you're looking for people for that committee, you might ask Polly. She's quite interested in having broadband.
Okay. It's interesting that you don't think she has enough to do.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, by the time he has plenty.
she likes to keep busy.
She sure does.
Anyway, it wouldn't hurt to ask her. I'm not gonna, but
No.
she can.
Oh,
It
yeah,
wouldn't,
I'm not
it
going.
wouldn't, you're right, it wouldn't hurt to ask her.
But I don't see her on
Okay.
here.
Okay. On what?
Well, he
Yeah,
just said you don't see her on here, so she can't be too interested in Broadway.
Well, the meeting's going on in Richard's room. Maybe she doesn't want to hang about in Richard's room. Maybe she's got something else going on. In any case,
Polly is not gonna sit here and watch a select board meeting. She, I can tell you that, so.
okay,
that's-
so the next,
I-
Hey, hey, Cat, sorry. I'll
The
mute
next
myself.
the next, next is number 4 in new business, which is a public hearing date for town meeting articles and ordinances.
Okay.
Before the selectmen.
Would you like to tell me what she's saying?
Hold on. What?
June 2nd, before the selectmen's meeting.
June 2nd, before the selectmen's meeting?
And right, that's a week, that's the week before the town meeting,
2 weeks before.
2 weeks.
2 weeks before. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Did you-
That's also a good time, I think, to also schedule the budget hearing. And also we can hear from our candidates on that night.
Yeah,
Candidates for, I think it's only select board this year. Is that right, Leanne?
Yes.
yeah.
So we'll have one seat on the select board open.
Yeah.
And we'll look forward to hearing from our candidates at that time.
On June 2nd.
You make a motion
We make it an emotion
with the time.
with the what?
Time.
No.
I move we choose to hold our public hearings and candidates night on June 2nd. Shall we say 7 PM?
No.
No.
The selectmen's meeting's at 7.
Oh, sorry. Right.
Last year we had it at, last time we had it at 6. Last year.
Is that going to give us enough time for public hearing?
An hour.
Well, a little bit depends on how many ordinances we have. My understanding is we're going to have the beach ordinance and a redux of the administrative ordinance. And if I'm not mistaken, we'll be seeing the shoreland zoning ordinance return as well. That's 3 ordinances plus the budget hearing. That's a lot to cram into an hour.
Yeah.
5:30 then.
And
5:30?
you know, when that day arrives, it'll seem really early, but I think we'd do well to reserve that amount of time.
5:30 it is.
Best to have too much time than too little.
Lee,
Lenny, I see your hand.
that's too early
I'll
for
second
people
it.
like Christine who work. They can't
That's
get
6 o'clock is too early for people who work most
Well,
of the time.
better than 5:30.
Well, right. Well, even 6 o'clock is a little on the too early side. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the 25th, we have a meeting at 6 o'clock in Sumner. I'm thinking, how do people who actually work manage to
Right.
to-
Work outside the home.
Oh, right. Now I know why people who go to work don't attend any meetings. Duh. You just make it impossible for them but as long as they're invited, then I guess it's all open.
You think you can get all 3 ordinances in there, Lenny? From 6 to 7?
Plus the
Well-
candidates.
the beach ordinance should be easy. The administrative is a little more complicated. Shoreland zoning isn't ours. That's the planning board.
And then you got
That's
the
right.
candidate, you gotta talk to the candidates, have them talk. You don't know how
Yeah.
many there's gonna be yet.
Okay, so it'll be two.
How
And then
about
there's a
6?
budget hearing. I think
Maybe.
we may be trying to
We don't
cram,
know.
I think we are trying to cram 10 pounds of potatoes into a 5-pound bag, folks.
Yes. What's wrong with 6 to 8?
The select board meeting starts at 7
Selectmen's
on that
meeting
night.
at 7.
Well, then
So,
let's not,
should we plan to
Want it
have,
another
I mean,
night?
yeah,
you know, I kind of hate to say it, but I'm
Sounds
thinking
like
we need to, I'm thinking we need to do it on another night. I don't see how we can cram it all in.
Yeah.
And,
no,
and there's nothing where, you know,
What about
I
the
remember
last
last-
day of,
I can
last day of
remember
May
last,
then?
I can remember last year, when we had, the candidates night. And I can remember feeling like, you know, I'm looking at the clock,
Second
looking
is
at the clock because we only had so
Thursday.
much time.
Yeah, for another night then.
What about the last day in May? 2 days before, that Tuesday or that Wednesday, the day before. One of them.
Hang on, am I looking at the right calendar here? Yeah, here we go, 22. Let me have the real life calendar here. Okay, so the 2nd of June. So actually the Wednesday is June 1st. You know, I'm leaning towards having it the night, having hearings the night before.
June
And then if, right,
And
we
then
can
have it
have
at
it on
7?
June 1st.
6 o'clock or 7 o'clock?
6:30 or
I
something.
I lean towards 7, to be honest with you, because then working people can show up.
Okay. June
Because,
1st.
you know, we're not talking about a select board meeting where nobody or almost nobody shows up. We're talking about a public hearing where we actually wish to encourage people to show up.
7 o'clock.
Okay, got it.
Well, I'll write it in real life then, 7 p.m. Thanks for this reminder, Leanne. It's so important.
The ordinances have to be in.
So would anybody like to tell me what she said?
Oh, she's just checking it.
Keep checking the ordinances
How soon they have to, you know.
when they're gonna be in. Hold on.
And so our, the election is on the 14th, is that correct? I know we've just put those up, but I haven't got it written on the calendar yet. And it's a full moon.
Ooh.
14th of June?
I think that's right.
Oh, it's just town meeting. So, did you find it?
I found it, but there's no date when they were supposed to be back,
There's no date.
but it says, the junkyard, the note spray, administrative, and all committee ordinance.
They got a whole bunch of ordinances on their list. Junkyard,
No spray.
the beach.
Administrative and all committee ordinance.
Well, I'd be surprised if all of them were ready by that time. The no spray shouldn't be too hard.
What about the road one? I can't remember if that, we ever finally got that passed.
Excuse me?
The road ordinance.
2019 it was passed.
Huh? Was it?
Yeah. Now
Okay.
every driveway.
Okay, never mind that, Mark.
Got Richard's hand up again.
Richard,
Richard,
I wonder if anyone can recall how many people showed up for that meeting last year. I was there and I don't remember that there were that many people there except for the candidates and their
That's
spouses.
about it.
Huh?
That was
I don't-
about it. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think you, you can schedule for 2 hours if you want, but I don't think you're gonna have very many people there.
No,
Why
rather
we
than,
changed it.
rather than come to the hearing, they wait and complain at town meeting,
That's right.
which is very
But you know-
irritating.
Human
yeah, it
nature.
is. It may be, that may all be true. On the other hand, we have had a number of budget hearings that were well attended when we had issues going on that people were concerned about. And I feel pretty strongly that it's important to have a budget hearing. And, you know, if you want, we can schedule the ordinance hearings for the first, and then meet at 6 on the second to have our budget hearing and candidates night, so we don't try to cram it all in at once.
I wasn't objecting to the budget hearing. I was just saying that people don't come and talk about the ordinances. They wait and vote them down at town meeting.
Well, you know something? I'm going to say that that may be a matter of social marketing, in that, you know, a little bit of time and effort is going to have to be put into education around that, to make sure that people actually do turn to ask their questions and get some answers.
So who would educate them?
People
Whose
who know what's
job?
going on, people who knows what's going on with the ordinances.
Yes, the ordinance is otherwise.
Well, we hand them to the select board.
they gotta be done before that meeting.
Yeah, 2 weeks before, so if-
Does an email go out to everybody in town?
Everybody that can.
The ordinances, shouldn't they be ready 2 weeks before the meeting? So Leanne can get them out,
like middle of May.
middle of May, be done.
I don't see why not. That's a good idea, to make sure people have had a chance to look at them and read them. And in that same missive, they can know that there will be a hearing on this subject on June 1.
Right.
Well, we could put them on Facebook. We'd get feedback.
Yeah.
What can I
Hold
say?
on.
You know, I think Facebook could be useful in reminding people that of a hearing upcoming.
Leanne's got
But,
something to, Leanne's got something to say.
Jesus.
Go
It's
ahead.
like, I keep turning my sound down, and then I can't hear the people who are whispering, hear somebody whispering in the background, so I turn it back up and it's,
Go ahead, Leanne.
Well, the ordinances have to come to the Board of Selectmen to be certified, and then I can get them out on the website. I can have them available in the town office so people can read them before the hearing.
That would be nice. That'd be awesome, Leanne.
Richard.
Well, I guess I would comment, I don't think the Facebook is a bad idea. And I'll
I
tell
was
you what.
kidding.
Kidding,
No,
yes.
I'll tell you why. Look back at the ordinances that we had, what was it, last year or the year before? And look at the spray, no spray ordinance and what happened with that. And I think we had a similar thing happen to one of the other ones. After we passed it or whatever, we discovered it wasn't legal or some stuff. And the more people that read those things ahead of time and have feedback, the less chance there is of that happening again.
Richard, do you know why the no spray ordinance was invalidated?
Yeah, I believe it was because somebody, the select board didn't realize that it had to go through the EPA or some stuff like that. And somebody
Oh, that
else
would be the
might,
board, that would be the Board of Pesticides
and
Control.
somebody else might have caught that. If everybody was looking at them.
Yeah, well,
Well, tell me that's not true.
I won't argue with you for the sake of not arguing.
Yep.
True, somebody else might have.
So, one of the things about the no spray ordinance was that it was a petition driven ordinance, and there were more signatures on that ordinance than I've ever seen. It was like 150 people or something like that. It was very popular, and I think that it would pass quite handily again if it were brought to the people. When it has to be brought to the people in a form that, in a format that would be acceptable, and the Board of Pesticides Control needs to be notified 30 days in advance of town meeting.
Well, I remember
And
that.
then they need to be notified, is it a week afterwards, or do they have another 30 days? I don't remember. We'd have to look that up. They have to be notified again if it passes.
I remember that I was on the ordinance committee that year, and I think we had 3 ordinances that come up at town meeting. And one of them was a spray, and I forget what the other 2 were, but 2 out of those 3 ended up not being able to go into effect for one reason or another. And the more people that look at
The no spray ordinance passed the same year that the food sovereignty ordinance passed.
that
No
one, yeah, that
spray ordinance passed.
without problem, but there was a third one, and I don't remember what it was that got turned down or something. I don't remember now, but there were 3, and 2 out of the 3 did not make it into, did not become law, or whatever you
No.
call it.
No, that's not accurate. Food sovereignty and this no spray passed. No spray was,
Both of them with flying colors.
yes.
And neither of them went anywhere near.
I
Went
said that
anywhere,
later on, there were problems with them. No, there's no spray.
but neither one of them went anywhere near the
and there was a
ordinance
third
committee.
There was a third one that was passed.
Oh, us.
No,
Problem
the
with
Kit,
it.
there was a
Okay.
Kit Kat.
Well, it
saying
could all be proved by
There's my dog.
looking back at the minutes of town meeting, but I'm not
That's correct.
interested in a history lesson at
I'm
this
just saying,
time.
the more people that read those and see them, the less chance there is of being problems with them.
Which is
That's
why
all.
they'll be published on the website.
Yeah, and on Facebook.
No. That was a joke. Sorry I brought it up.
No, well, I don't think I think it's a good idea.
The people who objected to the administrative ordinance do not go on Facebook, but they have a lot of legal language, and so people were wowed and they voted
you
it
go.
down.
So we have further business. We have further business before the board tonight. And like, as I just said, I'm no longer interested in hearing more about history lessons.
But wait, are we gonna
Even
do
if it-
2 nights?
That was my understanding.
What'd you
Was
say?
it a
No.
motion? Did we vote?
Um,
I mean, did you vote?
yeah.
I thought we changed it to May for that one, the ordinance one.
Didn't we say June 1st and June 2nd
Yeah.
is our select board meeting?
But they
Now,
should be anyway,
So
no, no.
I will move that we hold ordinance hearings on June 1st at 7 PM. And that we hold our budget hearing and candidates night ahead of the select board meeting on June 2nd, which would mean starting at 6. It gives us a lot of time. On the other hand, and June 1 at 7. Okay, so make sure this is okay. Hearing at 6 PM. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? There you go, done. Okay, moving right along, Avcog hazardous waste collection, 2022. You know, I had all that stuff in front of me and have I lost track of it? Oh, damn.
People really do.
Here we go. Here we go. Household hazardous waste collection. So I would like to, I move, we go with the same plan
know
that
it.
we've been.
Go ahead. Same what?
Well, whenever you're ready.
We are ready.
We're ready.
Okay, well, I move that we use the same method for household hazardous waste collection that we have used in past years, which is the depot access only. We're not going to participate in a regional collection, but we will let people take their hazardous waste down to the hazardous waste depot at the Lewiston transfer station.
I second it.
Same as we have for many years
Don't even
running.
know where it is anyway.
Well, maybe you don't have much hazardous waste around.
I don't.
Good. That's good to know. In any case, if you needed to find it, I bet you could, I bet somebody could help you out with that.
Oh, yeah. I'd look it up
Uh,
on the internet.
I think you could find it. And we'll have to assume that for everybody else. So there's 6 collections. And yeah, it's 424 River Road in Lewiston, as it happens. Okay, so it costs $40 a unit. Seems like we had some kind of budget for this, but in any case, it costs $40 a unit, and the town is responsible for that, whether we budgeted for it or not. In any case, so I move that we stick with the plan that we've been doing previously and allow depot access. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Great. We have to fill this out. We have to list at least 3 ways we'll promote the household hazardous waste: a newspaper ad, letter to the editor, town website, poster, Facebook post, handout, etc., etc. I'm going to suggest that we post it at the town office, post it on Facebook, put it on our website.
Facebook.
Seems like that ought to do it.
Lynn says
I
she's not
didn't-
supposed to put anything on Facebook.
Okay, I'll handle it. It's okay. I can handle it.
All right.
Yes, Richard.
So, Polly has to drop me off in Lewiston.
Yes.
That's what I figured.
Okay, so moving right along. Moving right along. The next piece we have to deal with is appointments and resignations. And I actually do have an appointment. I talked with Donald Perone, who lives on Birch Ridge Drive, and he's lived here for about 11 years. He has been on a board in the past, but never on a planning board. He was actually on the board of the Norway Paris Gun Club. And he's retired, and he was recruited for this, to apply for this by Leanne when he came in to register his car or something. And I talked to him, and he sounds like a responsible person. He understands that there's a fair amount of homework and responsibility. So in any case, it was just a telephone interview. But, and this leaves us with 2 people with some experience and 3 newbies on the planning board, which is a little risky, but as long as they all understand their responsibility. In any case, so I move that we appoint Donald Perone to the planning board.
His
Would
term-
somebody like to tell me what she said?
His term will expire June 30th, 2024.
Okay. I'm sure he'll want to know that.
Yeah.
That has to be the motion. Right.
Great. And
make any
to go. Yeah, so I move we appoint him. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Yes.
and sign it.
Okay, and to go along with that,
After he swears in, right?
I will
Oh,
sign
should we
that.
sign
when
it
I come
tonight?
back.
You appoint him.
You could sign it tonight and he can just come swear in.
Right. Yep.
Richard wanted us to chat, but I didn't know how to use this one, so
Is that you, Lee?
we'll see Richard. I think did it.
Oh, waving by.
I don't know.
What's he doing?
I don't know what she's doing.
Oh, maybe it's doing his
So,
thing.
so one
Oh, I can't
more
hear
thing. One more thing here is, well, maybe not one more, the next thing is trainings. And there's 2 things going on. One is the town meeting and local election webinar. Is that something that you would like to attend, Leanne? Tell me
Yeah.
what she says.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I move that we take $60 out of our training budget so that Leanne can attend this town meeting and local election law webinar.
I second it.
Can
Great.
I
Thank you.
answer Richard's question? You can't hear her, Richard, because she's too far away.
No, she's not using Zoom.
No, because he asked.
She's
why
over
you
by,
couldn't hear
she's
Leanne.
over by her computer.
Yeah.
And I think he knows that answer now. In any case, so there's also the local planning boards and boards of appeal webinar. And oh gosh, what does this one cost? Probably $40, right? I'm seeing, yeah, 45 bucks. So I am going to move that we have, I'm going to move to have 3 people attend this. They may only want 2, but I think I'd like to make sure that we have enough money set aside for 3 attendees to this webinar. And we'll let the planning board figure that out. We get a brand new person. We get another person who just came on last month. So at least those 2. And I'm thinking that Teresa would probably also benefit from this, unless this is also one that she's attended before. So if she's already attended this one, because I know she did attend some kind of a training session. So, but I'm gonna, just to be on the safe side, let's budget for 3 people to attend this. So, so moved.
It's 2 days.
Second,
Yep, second it.
all in favor? There you go. There you go. So, and the town laptop can be available for persons who don't use computers on a regular basis, such as Teresa. The others could probably do it from home, but if they need to use the town hall, because not everybody's got good internet yet. Okay, moving right along. Is there correspondence to be reviewed?
Yes.
Yep. Hold on.
Well, some of it's confidential.
Some of it is confidential.
There's a
Okay.
workman's comp hearing
Got a workman's comp hearing coming up,
February 23rd.
February 23rd.
Okay.
We already talked about the seminar thing.
That's on 2/23.
Right.
Yep,
22, okay, I'll make sure and read that correspondence
1 p.m.
1 o'clock.
at 1 PM.
Yeah.
Shall I assume that this is another one of these telephone conferences?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I think that's it.
Okay, great. Is there any other correspondence?
No. No,
Okay, great. So I've flagged that and I will make sure to read up about that and find out what I need to know. And that brings us to time to adjourn.
Do it again.
Thank you.
okay,
Thank you all for being here.
yep, okay,
Good night.
night.
Can I give you a copy of that? Okay. Okay, you need to record. Save that.
Whoops. Let me do that.
I thought this was all over with. Just we got wrong.